Before we get started today, I just want to say another quick thank you to Langston for stopping by the studio last episode. We had a great conversation on the current disruptions in the semiconductor supply chain. We talked about Bitcoin and the energy consumption levels of some of the Bitcoin mining operations, and then finished off talking about some of the current trends in commercial real estate. So if you haven't had a chance yet to watch or listen to the last episode, I'll put a link above in this video. I'm also going to be doing a follow-up, diving a little bit deeper into Bitcoin mining and some of the companies here in the United States that are facilitating the growth of this new industry. I'm hoping I can get around to recording that tomorrow, but we'll see. So that being said, today we are going to be talking about Rivian and their recent IPO. Rivian is an American electric vehicle automaker and automotive technology company founded in 2009 by R.J. Scaringe. Like I mentioned, they recently had their IPO, I believe, on November 10th, and this was one of the largest public offerings in recent years, exceeding Uber's 2019 offering, which raised, I think, roughly $8 billion. The Rivian IPO allowed the company to raise about $12 billion to fund growth, and that figure could rise to $13.7 billion if the full over-allotment of shares is exercised. This makes it the biggest U.S. IPO since Alibaba went public in September of 2014. Good morning. You are listening to another episode of Black Man Into the Wild. I'm blessed to be here with you all today, and I'm blessed to have you here with me as well. Now, before we get started this morning, if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share with your friends if you like what you hear. Shares of Rivian Automotive surged as much as 53% in its NASDAQ debut on Wednesday, giving the Amazon-backed electric vehicle maker a market valuation of more than $100 billion after the world's biggest initial public offering this year. At the time of the initial offering, Rivian actually for a moment became the second most valuable U.S. automaker after Tesla, which is worth roughly $1 trillion. Despite just having started selling vehicles and having little revenue to report, Rivian ranked ahead of General Motors and Ford. I think, we've all really witnessed, especially over the last couple of years, EV companies, have emerged as some of the hottest investments among large institutions and retail investors too. Think about names like, NIO, Lucid, another one, Workhorse. But yeah, I think, Tesla's inclusion into the S&P 500 back in December of 2020 is what kind of kicked things off, really. And when we take a look, we see some of Wall Street's biggest institutional investors, including firms like T. Rowe Price and BlackRock. They're betting on Rivian to be the next big player in a sector dominated by Tesla, amid the mounting pressure on automakers abroad to eliminate vehicle emissions, amongst other things. So now, this shouldn't come as a surprise because these days they have their hands in just about everything. But Amazon is actually Rivian's largest shareholder, holding a 20% stake. And truthfully, Amazon's investment is likely the one reason why the market seems this optimistic about Rivian's future financial performance. Not only does the e-commerce titan own 20% of the EV maker, it has also ordered 100,000 Rivian vehicles to be delivered by 2030. As a startup, the partnership is a big deal for Rivian, but it may also be one for Amazon too. Now, this contract with Amazon could provide an additional steady revenue stream, but on the consumer side, Rivian faces competition not just from Tesla, which is developing a truck as well, but also from legacy automakers that have much more experience with mass production. Next year, Ford is supposed to start producing an electric version of its F-150 pickup truck, the top-selling vehicle in the United States. GM is expected to soon begin selling an electric GMC Hummer. I think I saw Biden hopping out of that bad boy the other day in both truck and SUV versions, and is working on a Chevrolet Silverado electric pickup also. Now, to be clear, Amazon isn't going to be taking delivery of 100,000 of Rivian's R1T pickup trucks or R1S SUVs. Okay, they've actually placed an order for 100,000 fully electric last mile delivery vans. According to Business Insider, last mile delivery corresponds to 53% of shipment expenses. In another study conducted by the University of Michigan in 2018, electric vehicles cost only 43% as much as those that run on gasoline. Therefore, Amazon could establish a new competitive advantage over other retailers once it puts its new electric vans, a large fleet of vans, on the streets. I think it's important to note here that Rivian is still, a fairly new company, operating in a fast-growing and competitive industry. And I think when it comes to their expansion plans, based on what I've seen, Rivian has been investing heavily to boost production, doubling down on its, again, upscale all-electric R1T pickup truck, which actually launched a couple of months back in September. And then, again, it plans to follow that with an SUV and a delivery van, not just for Amazon, but actually other commercial or retail customers as well, hitting some of the hottest segments in the market. The Irvine, California-based company, Rivian, plans to build at least 1 million vehicles a year by the end of the decade, according to their CEO, RJ Scaringe. The company currently has a plant in Illinois and has announced plans to open a second U.S. factory in the near future, with additional plans to eventually expand into Europe and China as well. As far as their competition, and again, let's stay focused on Tesla for this comparison. One of Tesla's key competitive advantages that they have is their proprietary global charging network. In my opinion, I think if you were to ask, somebody today who works at Tesla, this puts them probably realistically 7 to 10 years ahead of any newcomers to the game, including those heavily backed by our boy Jeff Bezos. One of Tesla's other integral features is their optional full self-driving package that highlights their autonomous driving technology, which the company has been developing for, 15 years, if not longer. When I looked, I did see Rivian filed a patent application for self-driving technology in 2018 called, quote, Systems and Methods for Operating an Autonomous Vehicle in a Guardian Mode, end quote. That's a mouthful. But this system proposes the ability to drive autonomously for those users who are, quote, not fully competent to drive the vehicle. Now, if you ask me, I don't think they've really got anything close to what Tesla's working with when it comes down to autonomous functionality and artificial intelligence, at least at this point. At the end of the day, we'll have to see. Will customers have faith in Rivian's battery technology? I don't know. Is Rivian the real Tesla killer? I don't know. They've got a pretty good looking pickup truck though, so we'll have to wait and see. Thanks for listening, everybody. This has been another episode of Black Man Into the Wild. Have a great night.